Starting June 1st, it will begin a new installment of the Hebrew and Bible Academy. The full 12 weeks will be concentrating on the beginning and fall of Babylon, history, the understanding of the religious aspect of Babylon, as well as what? The theme from Babylon, Rome to America. In the Academy, this is what you can look forward to. New lessons, the secret war of Edom against Israelites. But one thing we've never delved into was bringing forth the history, showing all the contentions and war Edom has waged against Israelites even until our present time. The desolation of abomination, how to calculate time according to God, and I can't wait for this lesson, Armageddon. The final war in heaven. If you've never been in the Academy, you want to be in this one. June 1st, we're in open enrollment right now. Go to historytimes.org. Hebrew and Bible Academy. You're invited. The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy. You're invited. Hebrew and Bible Academy, you are invited. We're the elders of the Gathering of Christ Church here with our weekly Sabbath lesson. That's right, brothers and sisters. You see the title. Operation Rising Lion. The Iranian prophecy. Iran prophecy today. Iran prophecy. Hit the like button. I apologize. I know I said be here at 11, but I had to get everything lined up here, and I just wanted to make sure that everything was flawless as we go into this prophetic lesson, real-time prophecy. Thank you, Chris. Chris says, Academite for life. Come on. Oh, yeah, it's nothing like it on the earth. Tomorrow we'll be going into medicine for life, food. We have a special guest. We'll be dealing with how to eat to live. We'll also have Shabbat tomorrow has some serious info concerning what's going on in the Middle East right now and these are through international reports. Believe it or not, folks, the news is more nuanced outside of the United States. The international news is way more informative than the small bits and drabs they give us here in America. Traveling outside the United States, I realize how little we actually understand concerning geopolitics, and prophecy. Everything is controlled here. So Shapad is going to be able to jump in and give us some insight internationally, being on the outside of here. He's going to give us some reports on the Iranian, Edomite, Israel war. Okay? Do us a favor, hit the like button. I know usually I jump right in with some music and all that, but we're coming straight. We'll deal with all that later. You'll get some music later. Elder Lawyer, we're jumping in. What's going on in the world prophetically? Shalom.
Yes, sir.
That's
Shalom.
Elder Lawyer if y'all didn't know, y'all don't know already.
Shalom.
Shalom. Jumping right in. Now I'm going to do this so that we'll be able to answer some text today. All right. No phone calls, which means if you text, I'll see your text and I'll choose who to call based on the subject matter. Okay? And the reason why I'm doing it this way going forward is why? The lessons be on a level and it brings us all the way up. And if the phone calls is nervousness, I'm just excited, I just want to say hi, it takes away from the edification and the spirit of that particular lesson, right? You can always say hi, call, say you want to be baptized. There's emails for that, and you can call us outside the program. These lessons are for edification. No disrespect to those who reach out and just want to say hi and know that there's an opportunity. The elders are there real time, understandably so. But I'm going to do it this way for the program going forward so that we can further edify and excite people, right? We want to have them excited about the phone calls as well as, the lesson. We want it to all stay on the same level. You don't want people, once the phone calls come in, they start filtering out thinking that there's no edification going to happen or the Bible lesson is over. No, we want you to be a part of it. So make sure when you text, give us your name, comment to us, or text us what you would like to talk about concerning the lesson, and we'll bring you in. That's how we're going to do it. Or if you had any questions about the lesson that you didn't understand, that's edifying for those who are in the class. Okay? Now, before we jump in, and again, I'll tell you all, I'll say we're receiving text at this time. And that's when I'll look at the current text and answer those and respond back to you with the phone call. If you will, Elder Lawyer, let's go.
Shema Yasha'Allah Ahaya Allahaya Nawa Ahaya Achad.
Shema Yasha'Allah Ahaya Allahaya Nawa Ahaya Achad.
Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one.
Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one God. Brothers and sisters, hit the like button. We're under shadow ban. Something is going on prophetically in the earth right now. And yes, we are going to allow you to see and understand exactly what's happening. Okay, exactly what's happening. Now, without any further ado, let's start with my man real quick. Let's start with my man. Where's he at? I just had him. There you go. Let's start with our man, Benjamin Gocc. Well, let's start with Benjamin Gocc, a.k.a. known to the world as Benjamin Netanyahu. For those who don't know, his name before his father changed their names, were Polish names. Okay, Wachowski. Something just happened. What is it? Operation Rising Lion. We're going to drop the Iranian prophecy real time, and we told you it was going to happen. But what I didn't do yesterday is go into the prophetic scriptures. Where do Christ play into this? Who are the Iranians? What were they utilized for by the Almighty in ancient times? And will they be utilized for the same causes the Most High used them back then for the modern Babylon? Well, that and more, brothers and sisters, you'll understand in this particular lesson. Operation Rising Lion. Let's go.
Moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival. This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat. For decades, the tyrants of Tehran have brazenly, openly called for Israel's destruction. They've backed up their genocidal rhetoric with a program to develop nuclear weapons. In recent years, Iran has produced enough highly enriched uranium for 9 atom bombs. 9. In recent months, Iran has taken steps that it has never taken before, steps to weaponize this enriched uranium. And if not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, less than a year. This is a clear and present danger to Israel's very survival. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear enrichment program. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear weaponization program. We targeted Iran's main enrichment facility in Natanz. We targeted Iran's leading nuclear scientists working on the Iranian bomb. We also struck at the heart of Iran's ballistic missile program. Last year, Iran fired 300 ballistic missiles at Israel. Each of these missiles carries a ton of explosives and threatens the lives of hundreds of people. Soon, those missiles could carry a nuclear payload, threatening the lives not of hundreds, but of millions. I want to assure the civilized world, we will not let the world's most dangerous regime get the world's most dangerous weapons. And Iran plans to give those weapons, nuclear weapons, to its terrorist proxies. That would make the nightmare of nuclear terrorism all too real. The increasing range of Iran's ballistic missiles would bring that nuclear nightmare to the cities of Europe and eventually to America.
Eventually to America. Now, there's so much to unpack here. Operation Rising Lion. So we know the lion that was prophesied to roar at the very end is Judah. We're going to go into that lion because it's the spirit of Christ that's raising up Judah throughout the earth to proclaim our true purpose on earth as God's people. And at the same time, to warn the nations. So we're talking about a military operation coined by the Edomites, mind you. It's a Operation Rising Lion. So you might think, well, what does the Rising Lion of Judah has to do with them striking Iran? Great question. And it will be answered. It will be answered. How is it that the Rising Lion of Judah have anything to do with wars in the Middle East? Now, there's some key things I would like to point out. Not everything. I can spend an hour just breaking down some of the madness we've just listened to. Okay? When I say madness, what I'm saying is the disingenuous parts of his speech. When he's saying that, well, okay, we're defending our right to exist. Well, if you go back to where you were before 1948, right? Because you have a homeland. You could exist, you were existing fine there. Hitler was already destroyed. So there was no threat there now that Hitler was taken down. Right? I mean, I'm just talking about from my opinion. If I know my land is safe because the tyrant who persecuted me and my people is dead, and now I have power to dictate legislation and others in my homeland, why would I run into an area in which now the people around me threatens my existence? You see how it really doesn't make sense here? I need y'all to think about that. So he says they're doing this for their survival. Poland is still in Poland, and no one is threatening Poland. Okay? So that's one thing I wanted to unpack, but let's not deal with this. Let's deal with the code speak of the rising lion. Okay? And let's break down who is this sleeping giant, Iran, their origin. Who is the sleeping giant that has now been called, listen to me good, called by our God, the God of this world, the God that controls the gods over this world. Let's break down why the Most High God of Israel has called Iran into a final war. Now, if you don't know history, folks, it's hard to understand, but that's why we're here. Okay? And that's why we have the academy. A lot of our people, like it says in Hosea 4:6, are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. You don't understand what's going on in the old world because you've lost the history of it. Well, that's what you need to know to understand what's going on right now. Operation Rising Lion. Now, of course, the Iranians retaliated. Fair use.
Moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a targeted military.
No, not you. Right here. Israel attacks Iran. Boom, that happens. And then Iran responds. Fair use.
Well, while you were sleeping, Israel launched a massive series of attacks on Iran, taking out key nuclear sites and killing multiple top military leaders. Obviously, Israel does not want Iran to have a nuclear weapon.
So Iran is retaliating.
Now.
And threatening to hold the United States responsible as well. So Doug Luzader is going over all that's happened and what is currently happening, because this is still going on at the minute.
Yeah, in fact, it seems like we're pretty early into this, actually, even given the scale and the scope of those attacks last night. The White House is trying to distance itself from those attacks, but there are clear signs that the administration knew something was in the works. Israeli fighter jets streak off into the night, dozens of them. Hours later, the impact was becoming clear.
Moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced the attack last night. It was an operation that involved not just an air campaign, but Israeli operatives apparently working on the ground in Iran. The targets, Iranian nuclear sites, scientists, and military leaders.
We targeted Iran's main enrichment facility in Natanz. We targeted Iran's leading nuclear scientists working on the Iranian bomb. We also struck at the heart of Iran's ballistic missile program.
Israel has already been fending off air attacks this morning. Posting on X, Iran's supreme leader threatened to retaliate. That Zionist regime, he wrote, should anticipate a severe punishment. By God's grace, the powerful arm of the Islamic Republic's armed forces won't let them go unpunished.
Well, I'd love to avoid the conflict.
Just yesterday, prior to the attacks, President Trump said he was trying to avoid this, hoping to continue nuclear talks with Iran this weekend. But he has also said repeatedly that Iran cannot have nuclear weapons, and these attacks could be a significant setback for the regime.
Trying to really dismantle and rubbleize the key nuclear sites in Iran so that Iran can never get back to being as close as they were to a bomb before last night.
Okay, there are reports of stepped-up security around the Israeli embassy here in Washington, and this city is already locking down ahead of that big army parade that is tomorrow. Mike and Alex.
Well, you live in D.C., the D.C. area. So are they still worried about the streets being crushed by these heavy equipment?
I mean, there may be some street damage. I mean, you put an Abrams tank on the street, that's a lot of weight.
Yes.
You know, the parade route is relatively short. So that may, you know...
Okay, let's go into business as usual as the earth spiral into chaos. Let's go into business. Oh yeah, the parade. Guess what? The coming of Christ, the destruction of humanity. Hey, let's talk about this parade, right? But don't worry about it. We're going to break it down to you folks. Project or Operation Rising Lion. What is this? How do you view prophetically or understand what's going on with the conflict now between America, the state of Israel, who are Edomites, and the Iranians, who are who? They are the Medes, the Persians and the Medes. Now, why is that so important prophetically? Well, Daniel seen four separate beasts in the book of Daniel that must rise up in the earth before the Most High brings back what? His son, and give the children of Israel the promise that was shown to Abraham. 4 separate beasts. Well, Iran, for those who don't know, you haven't been in the academy, that's okay. We're here to teach it. Iran is the second beast Daniel seen in the vision. Let's go to Daniel 9, Elder Lawyer. Let's go to Daniel 9 real quick. And of course, we have a complete lesson, the 4 beasts of Daniel. And since our theme is from Babylon, Rome to America, we'll be able to go into that and highlight the Babylonian regimes that leads to America in the academy. But today, let's focus on Iran, okay? If you will, Elder Lawyer, let's go to Daniel and let's get that third beast, if you will, that Daniel seen coming out of the water. Daniel 9, okay? Let me put it up here so all can see. Daniel 9, Elder Lawyer. And let's go directly to the third beast. Daniel 7. Excuse me, Daniel 7. Thank you. Yes, Daniel 7. And let's go directly to the second beast. Read it.
Yes, sir. Daniel 7, verse number 5.
Daniel 7 and 5. Read it.
And behold, another beast, a second like to a bear.
A second like to a what?
A bear.
A second like to a bear. Okay. Daniel 9, I'm going to go there a little later because it goes into who? It goes into Alexander. But here, Daniel 7, it says, and behold, another beast, a what? A second beast, read.
Like to a bear.
Like to a bear.
and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it.
It had 3 ribs in the mouth of it. Okay? So this beast rises up with 3 ribs. A bear. So it stands on 2 sides. Now, you know, a bear, when it stands up, it has 2 legs. Right? So when you get to understand this empire is standing, its foundation is 2 separate nations of people out of Noah's sons. Like you got the bear standing with 2 legs. Well, instead of 1 nation, it's 2 that combines for this particular empire. And we're going to show you these 2, right? The 3 ribs in the mouth, they just took down Babylon, okay? They also took down Lydia, high in witchcraft and sorcery. And they also took down Egypt. These are the 3 wars that led to who? Iran in ancient times, gaining power over the earth, where all of the people had to pay tribute to the Iranians. And we're talking about around you're talking about between the 6th century and the 4th century BC. Iran was the superpower of the earth. Okay? Now, when it says that on one side it had 3 ribs in its mouth, the 3 empires it took down to consolidate power: Lydia, Babylon, and Egypt. Could it be that the Most High is going to use that same beast at the very end to come against the daughter of Babylon? See? Are you following me here? This was the empire that crushed and took over the first beast of Daniel, the Babylonian Assyrian Empire. Is this sleeping giant there prophetically to usher in the coming of our Lord and Savior? Well, listen. Read. And between the teeth of it.
And it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh.
Arise and devour much flesh. So we're not talking about a regular, brothers and sisters, a regular empire here. We're talking about one of the dominions that was given power by our God on this earth. On this earth. Now let's go into Genesis and the antiquity of the Jews real quick. And we have some history here, right? Concerning this particular empire. Who are they? What race are they according to genealogy, according to the Bible? Right? Today, the modern name for that beast is Iran. Okay? Right? So if you will, let me show you all this. Right? Here is an ancient map, if you will. Okay? Go on to class a little bit today. Here's an ancient map. See that? An ancient map. And as you can see, here is the original land of the Persian Empire. You see where it says Media here? Persia and Media. Here are the ancient maps. But if you look at the modern maps, it would just say Iran. Iran. Now check this out. Up here is the seat of the ancient Aryans. So when you think of the Aryan race, a lot of people think of what? The white Aryan racist race. Okay? But no. Esau assimilates and takes from all cultures. Being that beast that was able to steal from all cultures at the very end and make himself the Roman Empire. There's nothing original about Esau. There's no originality. He's an amalgamation of all the beasts which preceded him. So when you hear Aryan, these are concepts that were taken from who? And ideologies taken from the Persians. Okay? From those in the Mesopotamian area. Okay? Now, Elder Lawyer, if you will, let's go to Genesis 10,
Yes,
if you
sir.
will, and let's identify the children, Genesis 10, and let's identify the children or the seed or families of Iran. Let's go to their origin, their genealogy, okay? If you will, let's read it.
Genesis 10 and 1.
Genesis 10, verse 1.
Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood.
After the flood, read.
The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Madai.
And Madai. This is where you get who? The Medes, who resided in that same geography in the Mesopotamian area. So you have part who? Part Japheth as one leg of that bear, that second beast. So on one leg, it's Japheth. So they're part Asian, right? Because the Japhetic people are Asian. Now, I'm going to finish this a little later and correct a lot of misnomers out there concerning genealogy. When people see Japheth, they'll claim that the white man or Khazars are Japheth. We're going to clear that up a little later. Don't worry about that, okay? These people who are Khazars and converted between the 8th and the 11th century AD are Edomites. They are Edomites. Now, what is the confusion here? And we'll tackle that a little later. Okay? We'll tackle that a little later. The confusion here is the geography you see the white Europeans living on right now once belonged to the ancient people of the Old Testament before these lands were conquered by Edomites. So you'll have someone in America studying ancient history, looking at ancient maps, relating the white people to the land and naming them according to the ancient names. Right? So that's what's going on. So a lot of Hebrews who seen white people living in Europe started equating them with Japheth, because that land was originally Asian land, Japhetic land, before Esau conquered Europe. So a lot of them are confused. Now, I understand why they're confused. You go to the Bible, look at the geography like we did with Iran, and think, well, okay, if the Iranians are still there, who are the Persians and Medes, and the Ishmaelites are still there, right, over there all in Saudi Arabia, then I might as well look over what Japheth was and say that the white man in Europe is Japheth. You can't do that. Where's Edom? See, you can't do that. You have to go to the origin of Edom to figure out when he began to conquer other lands and then assimilate himself amongst those people. And we're going to help with that today. Okay? So I understand why they're saying that, but we're going to clear that up later. Right now, we have identified one of the legs of the second beast. Who is that? Madai. Madai is the father of who would become the Medes, right? Let me go here. I'm going into eastward, and we're going to grab here Madai, and it says, boom. See? Madai, a country of Central Asia. That's right, Iran is a part of Asia. Madai is the Medes and or Media. Okay? Medes or Media. So we are now identifying them geographically here as part of the ancient Iranian land. Madai, or the Japhetic Asians, lived here. Okay? Are you following me? Now, so when you look over here into Iraq and the Assyrian area over here, that was the first empire that makes up the modern day Iraq. You notice how the Most High is knocking them down in the same order? Iraq was taken down when George Bush went up in there, and now they're going after Iran. Well, Iraq was the first beast connected to Babylon. There's nothing new under the sun. Okay? So you have Esau, he took out Iraq to bring them under the order of Rome, and now they're going after the second beast. Geographically. Okay, y'all see that? Hope you all see that. All right. Now, Elder Lawyer, let's get the second leg of this particular second beast written of in the book of Daniel, the 7th chapter.
Yes, sir. Genesis 10 and 21.
Genesis 10, verse 21. Let's read it.
Genesis 10:21. Unto Shem also, the father of the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth the elder, even to him were children born.
Were children born. Now, this is the Shemitic line in that region. Read.
The children of Shem, Elam, and Ashur, and Arphaxad, and Lud, and Aram.
It says, and the children of Shem, and or who?
Elam.
Elam. The Elamites are the other part going west in the land. So you have what? A mixture of Asian people in Madai and or Elamites in the most parts of Iran, which makes up the bear of Iran, called the ancient Persian and or Medo Empire. Okay? Now, what do we have here? And I'm going to go into the Josephus in a second. Not the Josephus, the antiquity of the Jew. Yeah. I'm going to the Josephus in a second, right? What do we have here? We have the cylinder. Hold on. Did they say the screen is stuck? That's weird.
Saying it's stuck on Jeremiah. We can maybe scroll up.
I'm looking live. There's nothing stuck there. It looks fine on our side. It looks fine on our side. Okay? Okay, it's fine. I was about to say.
Saying the eastward. But even the eastward is fine.
The eastward is fine here, Iraq. So I don't know. The problem is on your end. Everyone else, I'm looking at it. Everything looks fine. This screen isn't stuck. Everybody say it's good. I saw the cylinder. So let me go back to the cylinder. If your screen is stuck, refresh your computer. Okay? What are we looking at here? Here's archaeological proof of what was shown in the book of Daniel. This is called the Cyrus cylinder. Okay? The Cyrus cylinder. Archaeological transcripts. That was what? They was able to make transcripts off of the stone, confirming the prophecies of the war that led to Cyrus taking Babylon. It's all recorded on the Cyrus cylinder. The king of who? The king of the ancient Iranians over the Persian Medo Empire. About 539 to about 538. Okay? It's called the Cyrus cylinder. Right? Now, in this, and I'm going to show you in the Bible, our God, the God of the Hebrews, raised Cyrus up to come against ancient Babylon. And also Cyrus was given the spirit to help our people rebuild the temple. And understand where we are right now. At a time where the Most High is rebuilding his people all over the earth in the spirit. Look at where we are. Operation Rising Lion. The temple is getting built, but it's spiritual right now. And in the midst of this, a war against the nation who helped us rebuild our temple. Right? Now, Elder Lawyer, let's go to the Josephus Antiquity of the Jews, chapter and verse here. You good?
Sir.
The Antiquity of the Jews, book 1, part 6, breaking down the genealogies, right? Let's read it here. Shem.
Shem, the third son of Noah, had 5 sons who inhabited the land that began at Euphrates and reached to the Indian Ocean.
So that's the geography. It reaches what?
It began at the Euphrates and reached to the Indian Ocean.
And reaches to the Indian Ocean. Read.
For Elam left behind the Elamites, the ancestors of the Persians.
The ancestors of the who?
The Persians.
The ancestors of the Persians. So the Iranians is confirmed even in antiquity and history that Iran is made up out of the children of Shem, the Elamites, and Madai, who are Japheth. Now, that's why you have a priesthood as a part of the political structure of Persia. It's through the Shem line that they have like the Ayatollahs and all others. Okay? Now let's go to the next one here, if you will, Elder Lawyer. So as you can see, for Elam, left behind the Elamites, the ancestors of the Persians, and go on.
Scroll up.
Let's go here.
Scroll down till we get to Japheth.
Japheth. Okay, let's see if we can find Japheth here. 1 second. Let me grab it here. What's the chapter and verse there you have?
1, 6, and 1.
1, 6, and 1.
That's 4.
That's 4.
Going up.
That's 5 there, right?
Yep. So I'm gonna keep going up.
1 second.
I'm gonna keep going.
Keep going?
Upwards.
Oh,
Upwards.
okay.
Yep.
1 second. Okay, yes, backward.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Scroll down till you get to book 6.
1 second. Okay, I see how this program works here. Right here. 6 and 1. Right here?
Yes, sir. Yep. Keep going down
Right
just
here?
a little bit. Yep. Yep. There you go.
Right here.
Yep.
Let's read it.
It says, I'll start here with Japheth.
Japheth.
It says, Japheth, the son of Noah, had 7 sons. They inhabited so that beginning at the mountain Taurus and Amanus, they proceeded along Asia as far as the river Tanais, and along Europe to Cadiz, and setting themselves on the lands which they light upon, which none had inhabited before.
Oh, let's start here. Let's start. Now, these are the grandchildren of Noah.
Yes, sir. Now these are the grandchildren of Noah,
Come on.
in honor of whom names were imposed on the nations by the first seized upon them. Japheth the son of Noah had 7 sons. They inhabited so that beginning at the mountain Taurus and Amanus, they proceeded along Asia as far as the river Tanais, and along Europe to Cadiz.
And along where?
Europe to Cadiz.
So as you can see, the original Europeans were who? Japheth, or Asian. See that? So if white people conquer this land later, it doesn't make them the indigenous people of Europe. Come on.
And setting themselves on the land which they light upon, which none had inhabited before, they called the nations by their own names.
Come on.
For Gomer founded those whom the Greeks now call Galatians, or Gauls, but were then called Gomerites. Magog founded those that from him were the Magogites.
And Magog would be modern day China. Come on.
But who are by the Greeks called Scythians. Now as to Javan and Madai,
Javan and Madai, read.
the sons of Japheth.
The sons of Japheth, read.
From Madai came the Madians, who are called Medes.
Who are called Medes by who?
By the Greeks.
The Greeks called the sons of Japheth the Madai, from Madai to the modern day Medes. This in of itself, brothers and sisters, makes up the 2 legs of the great second beast given in a vision to Daniel. Are y'all following me here? Right? Now, Elder Lawyer, since we have identified Iran, let's now go to Jeremiah 25, verse 15. Jeremiah, now let's go into the prophecies concerning Iran.
Yes, sir.
And I'm putting this out there, folks, because the evangelical preachers out there, there's no one in the United States that's set up under modern day Christianity that's breaking this down. Normally, under normal circumstances, we have a school class like this every Sunday where we give the dates and all these others. But I thought it would be apropos in the midst of prophecy to actually quantify and give you insight of what's happening real time prophetically, so you'll understand the characters that the Most High is utilizing in these end-day prophecies before Christ's return. Right? Esau have renamed the whole earth. So if you don't know who the people are, you'll never understand what's going on over there. See, now, identifying Madai, identifying the Elamites in their geography, now you can go into the Old Testament and make sense of modern day prophecy based on geography. The only one that's a little slippery out of all the nations we read of in the Old Testament is Esau. He had become the invisible man, which means he assimilated himself. He'll conquer a nation and then become that nation and hide his true intentions and nation, and also the prophecy concerning our God warring against him at the very end. So he hides himself. An example, we were talking about this before the lesson, and Elder Lawyer made a great example. I was talking to Lawyer. Like Elon Musk today, in America, would be considered a South African. Right? Now, usually, when I was coming up, a South African was considered, Nelson Mandela. Wendy Mandela. Right? But now, we're looking at an Edomite who's considered a South African. That's the perfect example of why you can't trust the history of Esau documenting themselves as other nations historically. See? You can't do it because they hide themselves and assimilate themselves in society without showing their true intentions and or nation prophetically according to the Bible. That's why they don't like us identifying them as Esau or Edomites. That blows their cover. That blows their cover. Okay? And we're going to talk about that exactly, the invisible man. Elder Lawyer, if you can, let's go to Jeremiah 25 real quick.
Yes, sir.
Right? And for all those brothers and sisters who never been in one of our Hebrew and Bible academies and saying, man, a lot of this is making sense to me. This is just I would say, a minuscule piece of what you'll actually receive in the academy as a whole. Okay? We dive in to the history, and the PDFs and all that is right there for you to do your own research to confirm what we're bringing you is true. No one out there can claim the Bible is incorrect when we're dealing with what? Archaeology and history concerning secular nations outside of the Hebrews that's documented, like we showed what? We showed Cyrus' cylinder that documented the fall of Babylon, a vision that was given to Daniel. That's an outside source that proves the prophecies and what the Most High showed our people are true. That confirms the validity of our book. See? So all this, well, man wrote the Bible. Now, listen, you don't say that about any other book you respect. Man wrote every book. And so what does that mean? So now, the only book that we can question that man wrote, as you claim, is the Bible. Why do you take that particular view and skepticism strictly only with that book, opposed to the other books you respect out there? That's hypocrisy, because you know the book is real and it challenges you, and it'll have you question what? The foundation of your core beliefs. That's why they question the Bible, because if you believe the Bible, you have to now restructure everything concerning yourself. That's why they go, oh, the Bible tampered with. How many translations is the Bible? Oh, nah. Don't try. Listen, don't even try it, because you'll be out there pushing a book like Oprah's book club almost every week, claiming a book you read that everyone should dive into. Mm-hmm. But it's all of a sudden, it's the Bible that we must question. Nah. The devil is like, stay away from this. Okay? This Bible is like a cross to the vampires. It slays the dragon. Elder Lloyd, let's get to Jeremiah real quick. 25.
Yes, sir. Jeremiah 25 and 15.
Jeremiah 25. Let's get there. Let's read it.
For thus saith the Lord God unto Israel, of Israel unto me, take the wine cup of this fury at my hand, and cause all the nations to whom I send thee to drink it.
He told the Most High, says, take the wine cup of this fury. And do what?
And cause all the nations to whom I send thee to drink it.
And cause all the races of the people it says, cause all the nations to whom I send thee to drink it. Every race of people that was ever given power over God's people must drink this cup. Now, before you go there, Elder, I want to show one other thing. One more thing before going into that. When you go into the Persian Empire, and I got this off of history.com, ancient Middle East. You can look it up. It talks about this, right? Elder Lawyer, read the Persian Empire for me, if you will, here.
Yes, sir. The Persian Empire is the name given to a series of dynasties centered in modern-day Iran.
Modern day where?
Iran.
Modern day Iran, come on.
That spanned several centuries, from the 6th century BC to the 20th century AD.
So this empire, even though it isn't as great as it once was, as far as having all nations at its tribute to them, it's still here. It's still here, folks. Read.
The first Persian Empire, founded by Cyrus the Great around 550 BC, became one of the largest empires in history, stretching from Europe's Balkan Peninsula in the west to India's Indus Valley in the east.
Which confirms exactly what was recorded in Josephus. Read.
This Iron Age dynasty, sometimes called the Achaemenid Empire, was a global hub of culture, religion, science, art, and technology.
So you have to realize, folks, we're not dealing with a novice here. When it comes to ingenuity, power, science, history, it's one of the most ancient structures that's still in place as far as government and empire. Why do you think Esau had to wait at the very end to come against Iran? This is not going to be an easy task here. They're rooted. And they're confident in their what? In their part presently, according to prophecy. They understand. They fully understand, brothers and sisters, their role. Read.
For more than 200 years before it fell to the invading armies of Alexander the Great.
Alexander the Great, which goes into the Gocc we read of in the book of Daniel. When you go to Daniel 8, Daniel 9, it breaks down the empire that would take them down. Okay? And what empire warred against ancient Iran or the Persian Medo Empire? Alexander the Edomite. The strange family of Esau who came into Macedonia. It was the Edomites who took them down and took their power, like shown to Daniel. Cyrus the Great. Let's get straight to Cyrus the Great.
Yes, sir. The Persian Empire started a collection of semi-nomadic tribes who raised sheep, goats, and cattle on the Iranian plateau. Cyrus the Great, the leader of one such tribe, began to defeat nearby kingdoms, including Media, Lydia, and Babylon, joining them under one rule. He founded the first Persian Empire, also known as the Achaemenid Empire, in 550 BC.
Come on.
The first Persian Empire under Cyrus the Great soon became the world's first superpower. It united under one government 3 important sites of early human civilization.
Now you see what it says? This became the first world's superpower. So what we see in presently is the current world's superpower up against the ancient world's superpower. That's what we're witnessing with Iran against the Edomites right now, or the Edomites against the Iranians. That's what we're witnessing. The modern day superpower who's using Israel, that little place there, as a proxy. Okay? And Rome is controlling this all, folks. But that state of Israel is a proxy, a colony of the United States, the superpower, fighting the ancient, looking to rival the ancient superpower Iran, the sleeping giant. It says one government, 3 important sites of early human civilization.
In the ancient world, Mesopotamia, Egypt's Nile Valley, and India's Indus Valley. Cyrus the Great is immortalized in the Cyrus cylinder, a clay cylinder inscribed in 539 BC.
Archaeological proof that everything we're dropping is true, and that the prophecies given to our prophet Daniel proves that Israel's prophecies is above all prophecies on the earth. No other record can quantify what's going on in the earth right now. You can't go to the Gita, the Book of the Dead. You cannot go to the Quran to figure out what we're talking about right now. And believe it, if you could, the people over in Israel today would be claiming to be them and using their records. See? That's why they don't mind us claiming to be African or from the origin of African or Ham. There's no prophetic source or future of power that was given to Ham. See? That's why they don't mind us claiming it. Because prophetically, you know, we're in the position to just be servants over the earth under the other people forever. That's why they don't mind us saying we're African, we're Ham. Because there's no prophetic future for these people that we're claiming to be. See? If it was about being African, as far as prospering prophetically, guess what, folks? I'm going to tell you right now. This guy right here and all of them would be claiming to be the Africans. I'm talking about wholesale. Right? Cyrus the Great immortalized in the Cyrus cylinder, a clay cylinder inscribed in 539 BC.
With the story of how he conquered Babylon from King Nabonidus, bringing an end to the Neo-Babylonian Empire.
So here it is. It was recorded on the Cyrus cylinder, the war that would lead to Iran becoming the first superpower in the 6th century. Folks, this is history. This is history right here. Right? Read.
Darius the Great, the 4th king of the Achaemenid Empire, ruled over the Persian Empire when it was at its largest, stretching from the Caucasus and West Asia to what was then Macedonia, today's Balkans, the Black Sea, Central Asia, and even into Africa, including parts of Libya and Egypt. He unified the empire through introducing standard currency and weights and measures, making Aramaic the official language and building roads.
And building roads, come on.
The Behustan inscription, a multilingual relief carved into Mount Behustan in western Iran, extols his virtues and was a critical key to deciphering cuneiform script. Its impact is compared to that of the Rosetta Stone, the tablet that enabled scholars to decipher Egyptian hieroglyphics.
Okay, this is modern day. This is ancient, which would be modern day, the land of Iran, Persian and Medes. And guess what, folks? The Most High put a spirit on this particular king to rebuild the temple. Their original religion was the paganism, the pagan Zoroastrianism. Ancient Babylonian religion moved from them all the way, from Babylon all the way to the modern day Iranians, and that's why they're all predominantly Muslims today. It all goes back to the Persian mythology, the religion of Zoroaster. Okay? All the way down to when Alexander the Greek took them down, took down Darius in 333 BC. Okay? Now, that's the history on it. And folks, let me tell y'all something, man. Iran have been a cultural powerhouse and a stronghold in the earth all this time. So this isn't an easy scenario. And our God have made it so. Now, am I for Iran? The answer is no. Am I for the Edomites side, that them fighting against each other? No. I'm just here reporting it. Okay, through the Bible prophecy to show you what comes next. All in all, we're for our people, the lost tribes of Israel. And it's important. That doesn't make me racist. How the world defined racist. You being for your people doesn't mean you hate someone else. I'm for the lost tribes of Israel. Why? Because when Israel is in power, all the races of the people benefit. The world is better because we treat people better. So in actuality, with us being in the interest like Christ was for his people, it's an actual benefit for the other races of people out there. If you want to know what a better world looks like without chaos, war, and confusion, well, you have to look back to when there was what? Peace. After David took down the pagan enemies and the pagan kings, and guess what? There was 70 years of peace in the earth because the children of Israel ruled. Out of that 70 years of peace, it have always been chaos and destruction. So when we stake claim to being the 12 tribes of Israel, folks, that's a benefit for everyone. Hence the reason I'm going to tell you right now, Iran is being very hesitant in coming into this war. I'm going to tell you this right now. Iran, for years, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, I reported this in 2011. He said, listen, how can America in the Western world and Israel be the moral barometer for justice when you've enslaved God's people? You never even treated black people right. How can you tell us what to do over here when we treat these people with civility and respect? He was speaking cold. He's like, yo, I'm not jumping into this. And no, Iran was like, that's on y'all, what y'all did to Judah. We have history. Iran has history in which they helped our people during the time of Esther. During the time of Esther, folks, when the Persian Empire when Haman, the Edomite, was seeking to kill us, the Iranians gave our sister power to judge the Edomites so that we can reign in that same region, so that we can survive the carnage. They were going to depopulate us, and the Iranians protected us. So they got the history of protecting us. See? So now Esau is telling them, nah, you got to come into this war with us against the rising lion. And Iran for a long time have been, listen, they've been quiet, not participating in the world, the one world order like they wanted them to. Esau have sanctioned Iran. Esau have threatened Iran. And Iran is like, listen, I don't want to do this. I don't want to come up against the rising lion. I know what's going to happen prophetically when their God send the Son of Man back. So the Iranians are trying not to get into this war. But Esau's like, hey, Judah has awakened. Judah has awakened, and you were a part of the original Confederacy, Iran. And you're going to let us be the fall guy now? Esau is the bad guy? You think we're going to go down by ourselves? You're coming into this war. And that's what Esau is doing over there. Because Iran don't want to come into the New World Order's military and have their military join NATO. They don't want it. Because really, the NATO war is getting made in the earth to come against Judah. Every nation Rome or America takes down, they assimilate into the Roman power and or military. Eventually, that military is going to come against Israel. And I'm not talking about the state of Israel that was made as a proxy of the United States right now. I'm talking about God's people. And Iran is saying no. They know the prophecy. They're one of the rare countries in the earth that has what? A balance of power between the Ayatollah Khomeini, a religious leader, and a president or prime minister that has equal power. So they're knee deep in prophecy, and they understand their part here and are refusing, because once they jump in, folks, it's going to be total chaos to a degree this world have never seen. That's why they're being so hesitant. Some people are wondering, well, why isn't Iran retaliating like they have the power to? They'll send a few strikes or whatever, but why aren't they 2 feet in? Folks, once they're in, there's no turning back. There's no turning back, and they know it. So they'll send a strike here and a strike there and come to talking. But Esau's like, listen, we're going to beat on your door until you come into this war. The ancient superpower has to fall and have their armies aligned with NATO, which is the Roman army. You'll never hear this any other place on earth of what's going on right now. I'll tell you this. Try to find what I'm telling you right now. And I've only been speaking for about an hour and something. Try to find and quantify in 1 hour what I've just broken down to you. What through the Spirit of the Almighty, through the Spirit of Christ. Try to find it anywhere. Go online, go anywhere. Now, you'll probably hear somebody talking about it in about a month from now after ear hustling this channel. Okay? That's what you'll do. But breaking it down historically, who they are and what their purposes by our God is, you're not going to find it broken down like this anywhere on earth. I'll challenge you. I'll challenge you to do that. And if you do, bring it back to me so I can see it. Because it doesn't exist. What is Operation Rising Lion has to do with Iran? Well, here it is. Elder Lloyd, let's get Psalms 83. Then let's go back to the Most High saying, for all Gentile nations to sip that cup. Huh? And guess what? What I'm saying isn't boasting. Let me make it clear. It's what it is. Right? Let's go to Psalms 83 real quick.
Yes, sir.
Right? So all the nations, brothers and sisters, are in an confederacy. A secret alliance against the lost tribes of Israel. Inside baseball, where all the nations understand what's going on, but yet refuse to tell us. Right? So here's the conspiracy. Let's read Psalms, Elder Lawyer. Psalms 83. Let's read it.
All right. Okay, I see what people are talking about. You see here? How you on Psalms with this Jeremiah?
That's what it is. That's what they're, thank you. That was the issue. Now I see what y'all talking about. That regardless of, okay. That's what it is. I apologize. I apologize, Yirach. Now I see what you're talking about.
There it is. That's it.
Right? It was eastward that was stuck that y'all was saying. All right. All right. All right, let's go here. So let me make sure it switches when I switch. Let me see something. Let me go to Genesis 1:1. Okay, it's working now.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, now I see. Thank you all for that. All right, let's go to Psalms 83.
Yes, sir. Psalms 83, verse 1.
Psalms 83, verse 1. Let's read it.
Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
When it says the enemies, brothers and sisters, make a tumult, it's talking about the pagan Gentile nations. The pagan Gentile nations has made a tumult. There's an uprise amongst them. And it says, they that hate thee, that hate our God, and by default hates us. And folks, that hatred has nothing to do with the color of our skin. You have East Indians who are pagans, who are darker than us, who would come over here and look down on us. So it's got to be something deeper than the hue of our skin. It has everything to do with the God we serve. They know that the God we serve rivals the gods they serve. This is why the Gentiles hates the Bible. So get off this thing where I'm being hated on by other people because of the color of my skin. Esau is playing on that. Oh, so they think that other dark-skinned people are not their enemy. So Esau would just step back and hire them to exact the hatred and the racism against us. See how it works? Since we're on this skin tip, Esau's like, hold up. I received the whole Aryan manifesto of racism and power from the Mesopotamian area, and these were all black people. So since they're stomping down at white supremacy and white people, I'll just go over there and hire a bunch of East Indians and all of that, and they'll come over here and step on their necks under the black and brown coalition. We have to get out of this thing believing that they hate us because of just color. They hate us knowing the God we serve rivals the gods they serve. Okay? Get out of this black and brown stuff. Esau's a cunning hunter. He'd be like, oh, it has to be somebody black that they will allow to destroy them. So they have to be black to be trusted. That's how Esau thinks. Okay, let's go back to the ancient times, to the alliances, and find all the black people that hated their guts in the ancient times and hire their children to crush them. Hire the pagan black children of the ancients, and we'll make them doctors. We'll make them pharmacists. We'll give them a place on CNN. Okay? We'll just prop them up before black people, since black people are so simple to trust strictly off of color. Esau is cunning. Lo, thine enemies make atonement, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. Read.
3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
They're slick. Read.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
We are the hidden ones, the truth of our history and all that have been hidden by those who are a part of the conspiracy. Read.
They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation.
Let us cut them off from being a race of people. Okay? The lost tribes cannot know their true origin and or purpose according to Bible prophecy. Okay? So instead of a people, we're going to turn their nationality into a religion that anybody can join. So let's cut them off from being a race, a nation who was called by God through the seed of Abraham. Cut that off. Read.
That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
So that when their children are enslaved, their children will remember nothing. We'll hide their history, we'll distort their history, and we'll teach them how to assimilate into the pagan culture. They did a mind job on us and our forefathers. They could have told us a long time ago, you're the children of Israel. But it's a part of the Confederacy. And this is where all the Gentiles come in. Because all of the nations in ancient times agreed to do this if the Israelites would fall from grace concerning that covenant with their God. They said, if these people fall, we're not telling them nothing. Let's make a pact. Let's make a secret agreement. You want to know the secret manifesto of the Illuminati? You're reading it right now. Let's keep these people on the bottom. Don't tell them nothing. Read.
5. For they have consulted together with one consent.
Read.
They are confederate against thee.
And the Most High through David was telling us, this is a confederacy, an organized plan amongst the elite governments. This is a pact amongst all of them. Read.
6. The tabernacles of Edom.
And the first one David names, brothers and sisters, is Esau. But yet no one knows who Esau is. You tell them, well, Esau isn't the Europeans. They'll be like, well, hold up. They must be the Europeans because that's what we learned. They're in Europe. They must be Japheth. The white man must be Japheth. Helping Esau hide himself when he's the main conspirator. He's at the head of it all. David named him first. Read.
The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites.
The Arabs.
Of Moab and the Hagarites.
Speaking of those, the Palestinians and those in the Middle East. Read.
Gebal and Ammon and Amalek.
And Amalek, who are the Khazars today. Read.
The Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also is joined with them.
And you're talking about those in the Assyrian parts? In the same area of Iran where you see Assur connected to all that landmass there? Read.
Assur also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot.
The children of Lot are the Palestinians and the Jordanians, which are going down in fire quite soon when the war break out. Read.
12. Who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession.
So they all agreed back then not to tell the children of Israel's children that we are the children of the promise. This was their oath. And by doing so, they all could what? Enslave our children. See that? Because you would teach the children that they were inherently what? At the bottom of all races. That we were born to serve them. And now a bunch of those rat races, satanic races who living in a hut over in India and all that, can come on a plane and automatically be put over a caste system over the children of Judah. Because why? They programmed us to believe that our people, God's people, are predisposed to the bottom. We are predisposed to be the ones on the bottom. We've been programmed to believe that. So to see any other race of people outside of us, we deem them greater, which means the conspiracy has taken. They all did this together. You can get a guy, let me tell you, flat broke, cleaning up dung near the pyramid in the Middle East, get on a plane here in the United States, wasn't making no money, and immediately in a caste system of the United States, he's above us as a minority when it comes to benefits, finances, grants, everything he can get just by getting on a plane. And none of us understood it. It's that agreement. Keep these people on the bottom. That was the agreement your forefathers made. And if you want to stay in rulership, if you want to continue your empire, you better help us keep them on the bottom. We must continue the lie. But guess what? Operation Rising Lion. See? The lion has awakened. See? And that was a secret code. That was what? Code talk to all those out there, the elite, who understand who Judah's children are in the earth. They understand it. They're rising. We need to get this conspiracy together. We can call it immigration, whatever you want. We'll put every dime we have behind it. We must now all gather together to keep Judah from rising. And Iran is saying, I don't want to go into this war right now. And the Most High is saying, what? Most High is telling Iran, you coming into this war. Huh? You're going to drink this cup. Let's go to Jeremiah 25.
Yes, sir. Jeremiah 25 and 15.
Okay, let me grab it. Jeremiah 25, verse 15. Let's read it.
Yes, sir. Jeremiah 25, 15. For thus saith the Lord, God of Israel, unto me, take the wine cup of the fury of this fury at my hand, and cause all the nations to whom I send thee to drink it.
For thus saith the Lord God of Israel, take the wine of this cup at my hand, and cause all the nations of the people, all the races of the people, including the superpowers throughout the earth, to whom I send thee to drink it. Read.
And they shall drink and be moved and be mad because of the sword that I will send among them.
Read.
Then took I the cup at the Lord's hand and made all the nations to drink it, unto whom the Lord had sent me, to wit, Jerusalem, and the cities of Judah, and the kings thereof, and the princes thereof, to make them a desolation, an astonishment, and hissing, and a curse, as it is this day.
As it is this day, Judah have become a curse. Because you know what? We had to drink it also. See? The Most High had an agreement with us. If you break the covenant, I'm going to deal with my people first. Therefore, the other nations doesn't have excuses going forward. You can't claim there was some preferential treatment here. He took down Judah, us, first. And we're his people. What do you think he's going to do to you? See? So when he says all nations drink this cup, I'm judging the whole world, starting with my people. See? So now the other nations, guess what? Iran, Edomites that are over there shooting at Iran right now, guess what? They all drunk of the cup. They all agreed in the power our God gave them. Let me say it again. They were all in agreement with the glory, power, and reverence they received on the earth by our God. See? That was the agreement. You was all happy when he made you head man in charge. But then when you begin to break the agreement of being in charge, that's when our God had a problem with you. See? So now you drunk the cup. You got all the glory. You had a power for some time. But now, guess what, folks? It's time to pay the piper. And that's what we're seeing right now in the earth. The other nations received the glory, but they broke the agreement. So now the Most High is saying, well, okay, look at Judah, look at Israel. And this is what happens when my people break the agreement. What do you think I'm going to do to you? See? So we all had to drink this cup. Read it.
19. Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and his servants, and his princes, and all his people, and all the mingled people, and all the kings of the land of Uz, and all the kings of the land of the Philistines, and Ashkelon, and Uzzah, and Ekron, and the remnant of Ashdod.
Ashdod is what? Ashdod is the city of Edom. So who would be dwelling in Ashdod? Huh? We're going to get that in a second. Let's get that out of Zechariah. Who, Zechariah 9 verse 6, who would be living in Ashdod in the ancient days, or in the modern day? Who shall dwell in Ashdod? Right now they're fighting at Gaza, right? Here's the modern day prophecy. I'm not saying this, God is saying this. Zechariah 9:5, read it.
Ashkelon shall see it and fear. Gaza also shall see it.
Gaza shall also see it.
And be very sorrowful.
And that's why they're being bombed and all that right now. It's prophecy. Because what? The people of the Palestinians were also a part of that agreement against us. Read.
And Ekron, for her expectation, shall be ashamed, and the king shall perish from Gaza, and Ashkelon shall not be inhabited.
And that's what we're seeing now. A genocide. Now we're seeing what America's doing, what the state of Israel is doing, but we're not seeing God's hand in it all, prophetically. I'm showing you. See? And who?
And a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod.
I didn't say this, so don't call me an anti-word. That means a fatherless child would inhabit and be controlling the land of Israel in the last days. Huh? A who?
A bastard shall dwell in Ashdod.
But what will happen?
And I will cut off the pride of the Philistines.
I will cut off the pride of the Philistines. So a fatherless child, a rogue child, would be ruling in Ashdod in the last days. In the last days, a fatherless child will be ruling from the land. Let's go back to Jeremiah.
Jeremiah 25 and 21.
Jeremiah 25, 21. Right? Let's read it.
Edom and Moab and the children of Ammon.
There you go. Read it again.
Edom and Moab and the children of Ammon.
Edom, Moab, and the children of Ammon. That's crystal clear. They have drunken this cup. And the Most High says, you know what? I'm coming after all of you. I'm going to have you in this confederacy war against each other while at the same time I'll be raising the Lion of Judah. See? Operation Rising Lion. See? They're confederate against each other. Now they fighting one another. That's our God stirring it up. See? And they're doing all this to consolidate and keep power. The power was given them through the fall of Judah. That's how they received the power. After we lost Judea, the whole nations got rich. They set up their whole economy off of the fall, oppression, and slavery of God's people. The whole world economy has been founded on that. But no one could put the pieces, quote unquote, religiously on a spiritual level together. See? So they conspired to keep the truth from us to stay in power. And to suck us dry, use all of our resources, knowing that the Most High gift children of Israel different than any other people. By default, we make every other nation rich. Just the way we think. The talent the Most High bestowed upon us, and they know it. So instead of us benefiting from our God-given talent, they squeeze everything, all the gift the Most High have given them for generational wealth to their children, squeeze all of our talent, and then discard us. because they don't have what we have. And none of you never realize why. Why are we the center of attention? Why do everyone always up against us? Because they need what we have, folks. We are God's source on earth. And they know it. Without us, there is no power. (22)
And all the kings of Tyrus, and all the kings of Zidon, and the kings of the isles which are beyond the sea, Dedan and Tema and Buz, and all that are in the utmost corners, and all the kings of Arabia, and all the kings of the mingled people that dwell in the desert.
Talking about the Bedouins. Go ahead.
And all the kings of Zimri, and all the kings of Elam, and all the kings of the Medes.
And all the kings of the Medes. They all drunk this cup. So the Most High is saying, listen, if you all drunk the cup, which means you all got rich off of the slavery of our people, and you made the agreement to take on the power I've given you, then guess what? You made an agreement against our people, and now your children must do what? Your children must bear the prophecy, the judgment on them, like we bear the judgment concerning the ills and evils of our forefathers. We did none of what they did, but yet we suffer. We had to go down, even though our forefathers broke the law. I need y'all to think about that. Some people might ask, well, hold up, is that fair? Is that fair that now the children have to suffer based on what the parents did? Yes, it's fair. My family had to go in the belly of ships and serve other nations. These were people that had nothing to do with what happened in Jerusalem before Jerusalem fell. But the prophecies follow us. And it doesn't matter where in the earth. The prophecies concerning the sin of our forefathers till this present day follow us. So, and because we had to drink that cup too, we were sitting on the throne as the Lion of Judah, the kings of Judah. We drunk that cup and like, yeah, look at all the power. We're the kings. And then did what? Defied the God who made us so. And now the children had to suffer. Well, guess what? It's the same for any other races of people who were born in the earth. And it doesn't matter if you're mixed in all that and think you can hide your genealogy by mixing and interracial marriage and all that. And that's why the Bible is also saying, even the mingled people. Okay? You can mingle along all you want, but God knows who you are according to your fathers. You're not going to hide yourself under another race of people by intermingling through biracial marriages. Okay? He still knows who you are. Right? Let's go.
Yes, sir. Verse number 26.
26.
And all the kings of the north, far and near, one with another, and all the kingdoms of the world which are upon the face of the earth, and the kings of Shashak shall drink after them. Therefore shalt thou say, verse 27, therefore thou shalt say unto them, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, drink ye and be drunken, and spew and fall, and rise no more.
And rise no more. So they're fighting, brothers and sisters, to keep the power that was given them through our fall. And the Most High is saying, listen, what you're drinking comes with a price. You'll get rulership, but there will come a time where you will rise no more. Babylon the Great is fallen, is fallen. And no one ever equated that with what? The rise of Judah, the rise of the lion. It was the lion who made Babylon great. Read. Because of what?
Because of the sword which I will send among you.
Read. And it's talking of what? The missiles, the weaponry. Read.
And it shall be, if they refuse to take the cup at thine hands to drink it, then shalt thou say unto them, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, ye shall certainly drink.
You shall certainly drink. See? So Iran don't want to get up into this thing like he know he's going to have to eventually. And the Most High like, no, we're going to push you to the edge. You coming into this war. Iran is just saying, listen, sanction me. Do whatever you want to do to me. We got enough to live amongst ourselves. They know when they come to in this war, Iran will never be the same. It's fallen. And they must allow Esau to use the military might that's left in Iran in an alliance, a Confederate army, a world army that was prophesied to come against the children of Israel at the very end, like the Romans did in 70 AD, but on a global scale. All of the nation's children must come into the valley of Jehoshaphat with their children for the final war. And Esau is nudging them, pushing them. In Iran, the Medes, the Persians are saying, I don't want to drink this cup. I wasn't as bad as these other nations against God's people. But the Most High says, you got to drink anyway. Because you was in that Confederate. You all agreed not to tell us who we were. You all agreed to re-educate our children to benefit off of the slavery of the children of Israel. So now Iran must drink the cup. Huh? Iran is being forced into this prophecy right here. For lo, read
29. For lo, I begin to bring evil on the city which is called by my name.
He says, I begin to bring evil on the city that's called by my name. I'm allowing Esau, the pagan brother of Jacob, the modern day European or Romans. I allowed them to utterly destroy my people. Read.
And should ye be utterly unpunished?
So you think I'm going to forget you? You nations? So it's okay if only the children of Israel suffer in the earth for the things we've done wrong. Is that what you're saying? Our God, the God of the Hebrews, Ahia is his name, is a just God. He's saying, listen, you don't got no problem with the curses that have been placed on the children of Israel. And you think I'm gonna let you go? Right? Read.
Ye shall not be unpunished, for I will call a sword upon all the inhabitants of the earth, saith the Lord of hosts.
And that's what we're witnessing right now in the Middle East. Okay? That's what we're witnessing right now. They're scrambling. At the same time, the time is ticking down quicker on Esau's empire. So he don't have no time to wait for these political diplomats to come into the war against us. He don't got no time to wait for that. His time is up. He's like, listen, I might as well fight you. See? It's Rome, according to the Bible, that's going to seek to fight against Christ upon his return. Now, if these guys are crazy enough to fight against God, you think they care about Iranians or anyone else? Esau is going to push this thing to the limit. He's going to push this thing to the limit. For those who missed it. And then we're going into the lion now. Who is Christ?
Moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion.
Here we go.
Moments ago,
Hold up.
Israel...
Benjamin Wisnowski. Benjamin Wisnowski. That's his name, actually, before they switched it up.
Israel launched Operation Rising
Hold up. Let me get it from the beginning.
Lion. A targeted military... Moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion. A targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival. This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat. For decades, the tyrants of Tehran have brazenly
Now, I know y'all confused to a degree, thinking, well, okay. They launched on Iran to stop them from making a weapon. That's what you think. Well, folks, these people in Ashdod are very calculating. They know what's going to happen if they keep striking Iran. They know that there will be what? Retaliation. And they know Iran already has the bomb. So you cannot go off of the narrative you're hearing here. Because they've already made refuge for themselves in Kittim, like it's written of in the book of Isaiah. Let me tell you, folks, I was there. I lived in Kittim. I was in Kittim, Cyprus. And there's areas of Cyprus that was totally empty that you can buy. You can buy a rent, a whole, they were selling whole apartment buildings for cheap. It was like a desert where no one was living in all these areas. And I looked at it and I told Loy and all of them, this is where they're coming. Now I understand living in Kittim, folks, how they prepared certain parts of Cyprus to run for refuge, the kings of Israel, that's in Israel, the diplomats. They made Cyprus their refuge. So when I seen all these empty buildings and all that happening, I'm like, this is where they're going to come. Like it's written of in the book of Isaiah. So they know Iran is going to strike all that area in the Middle East. But they'll already be in Europe, in Poland, Ukraine, and Cyprus before Iran launches on them. And at that time, there will be a 6 million person sacrifice. That was more so a prophetic number, 6 million. Holocaust means burnt sacrifice. And when did that burnt sacrifice is going to happen? That was a future prophecy. That's going to happen when Iran launch on all of that area. So they know it's going to happen. Folks, don't you think they read the same Torah in Tanakh, which is the Old Testament that I'm reading right now? You think they don't know what God is going to do? But there's no way around it. But they know exactly what I'm teaching is correct. They've read it. The 6 million people, the Holocaust or the burning is going to happen when Iran launch in that area. All the people in Jordan are going to be toast. The people in Gaza is going to be toast. And all of that area is going to be the sacrifice, where now all the smoke goes up to Moloch. Consolidating all that power and carnage that leads right back to Rome gaining power over the whole earth after the strike. Okay? And see, this is why Iran is trying, you don't want to drink the cup. Because there's no going back after this. All having kings over nations and having equal diplomacy and to have an opinion on world affairs. All of that is done once this happens. Europe, the 10 horns will rule, and their spiritual power, Satan's seat, will be fully established in the earth from the Vatican. Don't look at what's going to be set up in Israel. That's going to be toast. And what's going to happen? All of the blame is going to be on America. And Iran will then come against America. They're going to blame America, which will give all power back to the 10 horns written of in Revelation 17. No one can, folks, it ain't quantified like this anywhere you've ever heard the Bible taught. Real time what's going on over there. And how do we know? How long we told you, according to Esdras 15 and 16, that the missiles are going to come back here to the doors of Babylon. And now, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad is going to tell you. He's going to tell you what we've been teaching for years. That once that war comes to a peak there, then it's going to come to Babylon to make her afraid. That's in Esdras. We've been teaching that for how long? Listen to Benjamin Wachowski drop it for you.
Openly called for Israel's destruction. They backed up their genocidal rhetoric with a program to develop nuclear weapons. In recent years, Iran has produced enough highly enriched uranium for 9 atom bombs. 9. In recent months, Iran has taken steps that it has never taken before, steps to weaponize this enriched uranium. And if not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, less than a year. This is a clear and present danger to Israel's very survival. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear enrichment program. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear weaponization program. We targeted Iran's main enrichment facility in Natanz. We targeted Iran's leading nuclear scientists working on the Iranian bomb. We also struck at the heart of Iran's ballistic missile program. Last year, Iran fired 300 ballistic missiles at Israel. Each of these missiles carries a ton of explosives and threatens the lives of hundreds of people. Soon, those missiles could carry a nuclear payload, threatening the lives not of hundreds, but of millions. I want to assure the civilized world, we will not let the world's most dangerous regime get the world's most dangerous weapons. And Iran plans to give those weapons, nuclear weapons, to its terrorist proxies. That would make the nightmare of nuclear terrorism all too real. The increasing range of Iran's ballistic missiles would bring that nuclear nightmare to the cities of Europe and eventually to America. Moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion. They've backed up their genocidal...
He says eventually to where? America. Once more.
These missiles carries a ton of explosives and threatens the lives of hundreds of people. Soon, those missiles could carry a nuclear payload, threatening the lives not of hundreds, but of millions. I want to assure the civilized world, we will not let the world's most dangerous regime get the world's most dangerous weapons. And Iran plans to give those weapons, nuclear weapons, to its terrorist proxies. That would make the nightmare of nuclear terrorism all too real. The increasing range of Iran's ballistic missiles would bring that nuclear nightmare to the cities of Europe and eventually to America.
And eventually to where? And eventually to America. Now, I don't know if this guy had been in our classes or the Hebrew Bible Academy, or he's just rolling with the prophecy. Right? But I'm sure he wasn't. But he's falling right in because everything he's saying is out of the Bible. So he's not following the script, folks. What he's doing, he really think politically what he's doing here, himself, I'm going to tell you what's going on another level. To them, they're doing this to bring forth whom they think is the Messiah. Right? So there's dual prophecies going on here. But they know that what they're doing will lead to missiles being launched from Iran on Europe as well as America. Now, Elder Lawyer, chapter and verse, let me get that real quick to show you that what he's saying is what we taught years ago, which is living it now. Right?
Yes, sir. 2nd Esdras 15 and 27.
2nd Esdras, thank you, Elder Lawyer. Let's go, and then we're going to go back. Second Esdras 16, 15, and 27. Let's read it.
For now are the plagues come upon the whole earth, and ye shall remain in them.
You shall remain in them. Come on.
For God shall not deliver you because ye have sinned against him. Behold, an horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east.
From the where?
From the east.
From the east.
Where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth.
Folks, these are flying machines the prophets are seeing. There was no airplanes back then. Read.
That all they which hear them may fear and tremble.
Come on.
Also the Carmanians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood. And with great power shall they come, and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians.
They shall waste a portion of the land of the what?
Assyrians.
Of the Assyrians. So what are we seeing? That's right, folks. From the Gulf War, when the Bushes and others started coming in, taking over and destroying these areas. Right? Iraq and others. Read.
31. And then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature.
They're going to remember their nature, being what? Being a wild man. Read.
And if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them, then shall these be troubled, and keep silence through their power, and shall flee.
Read. And that you seen the leaders running from one area to the next, and they were being destroyed, right? Hiding like Gaddafi and others that were hiding, fleeing. As the empire of Rome through America started coming in and taking them, and their kings were fleeing to other areas, hiding. The prophet seen this years ago, thousands of years ago. Read.
33. And from the land of the Assyrians shall the enemy besiege them, and consume some of them, and in their host shall be fear and dread and strife among their kings.
And dissension amongst the leaders of the Middle East. See? All those that were conspired together against us now, they're all going against one another now. Read.
Behold, clouds from the east and from the north unto the south, and they are very horrible to look upon, full of wrath and storm.
Now we know the clouds are coming from what? Missiles hitting, like we're seeing today. Read.
35. They shall smite one upon another, and they shall smite down a great multitude of stars upon the earth.
A great multitude of stars upon the earth. Heat-seeking missiles that can shoot down what? Enemy missiles. Folks, it's as if Ezra was actually narrating what we've seen in the last couple of days. This morning when I pulled up the video, what did they say? American weaponry or defense is helping Israel shoot down Iranian missiles that are aimed towards Israel right now. It's like a star shooting down another star. As if the prophets are live narrating what we're witnessing on mainstream TV today. Read.
They shall smite upon one another, and they shall smite down a great multitude of stars upon the earth, even their own star, and blood shall be from the sword unto the belly.
It's talking about much carnage and death. Read.
And dung of men unto the camel's hoof.
Come on.
And there shall be great fearfulness and trembling upon earth, and they that see the raft shall be afraid, and trembling shall come upon them. And then shall there come great storms from the south and from the north, and another part from the west. A strong wind shall arise from the east, and shall open it. And the clouds which he raised up in wrath, and the stars stirred to cause fear toward the east and west wind, shall be destroyed.
And it's talking about what? Them deploying missiles and the nuclear bomb eventually. Read.
40. And great and mighty clouds shall be lifted up full of wrath, and the star, and they shall make all the earth afraid, and them that dwell therein, and they shall pour out on every high and eminent place an horrible star.
A horrible star is them seeing something that looks like a star aimed towards hitting all the major cities of the world. What did Netanyahu just say? Eventually, the missiles can reach Europe and then come to America and get to America. Read.
41. Fire and hail and flying swords and many waters.
That means because when they hit, tsunamis will ensue. See? Read.
That all fields may be full, and all rivers with the abundance of great waters.
Read.
And they shall break down the cities and walls, mountains and hills, trees of the wood, and grass of the meadows, and their corn.
Come on.
And they shall go steadfastly unto Babylon to make her afraid.
And they will go where now?
And they shall go steadfastly unto Babylon to make her afraid.
And then eventually it comes to Babylon. Folks, the prophets seen our current times. They seen it. And we, the gatherer of Christ Church, is reporting it live here. Real time as it's happening. And the reason for it, Netanyahu stated that this is Operation Rising Lion. They must pull everyone into the Confederacy to come against Israel at once. The rising lion isn't just Judah. It's the coming of our Lord and Savior. It's code for we must prepare against the lion. Judah, the king, is coming back for his people. Genesis 49, let's get it real quick. Genesis 49, and then we're going to just touch on the prophecy of the lion in 2nd Esdras. The Lion of Judah.
Yes, sir. The book of Genesis, chapter 49, verse.
Let's go straight to 9. Let's go straight to 8.
Genesis 49 and 8.
Yes.
Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise.
Judah, thou art he whom thou brethren shall praise. Now we know it's talking about Christ, but there's a spirit in Judah who does what? Who dictates the culture for the world. Everyone presses upon Judah. If Judah dresses a certain type of way, style, man or woman, the world follows suit. Okay? This is why Esau must use our people when it comes to their corporations and businesses and all that. They have the machine, but it's nothing without the ideas that come through Judah. Folks, Kanye West wasn't into fashion. He was a rapper. See? When they created basketball, it wasn't to do what we're doing with it now that made it a world phenomenon. It was against the basketball rules to dunk. You had some Edomites shooting into an orange crate, a crate that hold fruit. Mm-hmm. That's what basketball was. Who made it a phenomenon? And then everything we do, the world follows. It's without conscience. They don't even know why they're doing it. It's the spirit of Judah. So suppose that influence that people are utilizing carnally, suppose that influence one day is used for good. Operation Rising Lion. Now, as long as you want to do evil, debauchery, sin, and have that be the trend the world follow, guess what? They don't mind that. But say out of nowhere, yeah, you know what? I have enough money. My people are suffering. We're going to create our own party called the Black Party now. Like Sean Combs said 3-4 years ago. Look it up. Right? And they were like, oh, we ain't going that way. Now, we thought your influence should be liquor. Mm-hmm. Getting drunk. So we down with the power you have of influence. But it's to harm your people. Don't be talking about doing stuff for your people now. You know, we got the tape. We got the tapes. See how it is? This is why they find our people from nowhere and utilizes on the machine, because no other people has the influence spiritually as Judah, as we do. See? Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Read.
Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies.
That means Esau will keep us close to them. Everywhere they go, they'll keep us close. Why? Hey, you keep your friends close, but you keep your enemies closer. Why? They know the prophecy concerning Judah one day rising, where the heavens will use Judah's mouth as a tool for the awakening. To let everybody, to put the whole world on notice that guess what? You all drunk of that cup, and payment is now due. And no one can articulate it and bring it forth and make it cool enough for you to hear than Judah. Okay? Billy Graham, Joel Osteen, there's no flavor when they're up in this Bible. Hence the reason the majority of their lessons on Sunday mornings be about 40 minutes. They don't even understand how the children of Israel can sit for 2-3 hours in total attention absorbing God's word, because they don't have no flavor. People can't connect to the Bible like it is when Israel teaches it. See? Thy father's children, read.
Thy father's children shall bow down before thee.
That means all the tribes are going to follow Judah. See, Esau understands this, because it all comes down to that line of Judah that leads to our king, the Christ, the Messiah, who was prophesied to war against Rome upon his arrival. To war against Rome is Christ's mission. That's the first thing he's going to do when he returns. He's going to take down that sin city, the throne of Satan. 9.
Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down. He crouched as a lion.
He crouched as a lion.
And as an old lion.
And as a
Moments
what?
ago,
As an old lion.
As an old lion, read.
Who shall rouse him up?
Who shall rouse or raise Judah? Who shall raise Judah? Who? This who? It was prophesied. 10.
Verse 10. The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come.
Until Christ come.
And unto him shall the gathering of the people be.
Unto Christ shall the gathering of the people be. So when we talk about what? Judah is a lion stooped down. He's pacified. He's not in the position of predator like he once was. And it's saying, well, hold up now. Who's going to rise Judah up? The heavens are. We're speaking differently now. We're moving differently now. And the Gentiles understand we're no longer under their programming and or power. They see this clearly now. Usually when there's some type of riot and all that and uprising that happens in the United States or any other place, it's usually our people leading the charge. And we at home, all of our people, the same people that was marching and rioting doing Black Lives Matter, sitting there just eating popcorn, looking at the people saying, hey, this is not our fight. You think they can't see that spell has been broken off of us? So they need an operation.
Moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion.
They need an Operation Rising Lion. So this is not just a strike on Iran, right? This is a dog whistle. And it's telling everybody, y'all gonna have to all come together because the people of Israel, and I'm speaking of the bloodline Judites, they're rising. And we have to call all of you into the war so that we can do what we need to do to them in these inner cities under the clouds of warfare for the final desolation of Jerusalem, the people. Huh? Are y'all following me here? Now let's talk about the lion who speaks against the eagle in the book of Esdras.
Yes, sir. Straight to the point.
Straight to the point. The lion, who we know as who? Christ. Second Esdras.
All right. Second Esdras chapter 12 and verse number 31.
12 verse 31. This is the lion of Judah speaking against the eagle. The eagle is Esau.
I'll start at verse 11 and then jump.
The eagle is Esau.
All right. Second Esdras 12 and 11.
Read.
In fact, I'll start in verse number 10.
Yep.
And he said unto me, this is the interpretation of the vision. The eagle, whom thou sawest come up from the sea, is the kingdom which was seen in the vision of thy brother Daniel.
The eagle which thou sawest come up from the sea is the kingdom, the fourth kingdom, mind you, which was seen in the vision Daniel. The fourth kingdom is Rome. The fourth kingdom is Rome. The book of Obadiah, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, which is an emblem that's given solely for Esau. When you go into the Jewish encyclopedia, let me get it here for you. Look it up yourself. Jewish encyclopedia, Edux or Edom or Idumea. Some people try to claim the white people or the Europeans aren't Esau. They tell you who they are. Right? All right, go to the Jewish Encyclopedia and type in Rome. Type in Rome. And it'll go right here. And it says what? The name Edom is used by the Talmudists for the Roman Empire. They know who they are. They know exactly who they are. The 10 horns of Rome are the 10 European countries. The original 10 horns that came out of Rome, that aligned with Rome in the ancient times against us. Rome, the Roman Empire, is Edom. Every passage of the Bible, the Jewish sages tells us, every passage of the Bible referring to Edom or Esau. What is it? Again, listen what the Jewish Talmudists tell you. The name of Edom is used by the Talmudists for the Roman Empire, and they apply to Rome every passage from the Bible referring to Edom or Esau. Rome, under the name Edom, is compared to the boar, swine. This is why swine have become their what? Their delicacy of choice. See? And swine was also used in ancient Babylon for exorcisms. They would put the pig next to a person possessed by demons. Look it up. Look it up. When they do their exorcisms, and the top Babylonian priest would exorcise a demon out of a person, a girl, or anything, it would go into the pig, and they would let the pig free. And that's the garbage they feeding people now. Rome is compared to the boar or the pig. Okay? So even they tell you who they are, right? They outright tell you who they are. Now, I'm going to go to something in a minute, but Elder Lloyd, let's go back. Mm-hmm. So it's the fourth, what? It says, the kingdom is the kingdom which was seen in the vision of thy brother Daniel. Read.
But it was not expounded unto him, therefore now I declare it unto thee.
So now Ezra says, I'm going to declare the full vision to you. Read.
13. Behold, the days will come that there shall rise up a kingdom upon earth, and it shall be feared above all the kingdoms that were before it.
That's the fourth beast, Rome.
Jumping down to verse 31.
Now, who's speaking to this eagle? The lion. Let's go to 31. Let's read it.
And the lion whom thou sawest rising up out of the wood and roaring and speaking to the eagle and rebuking her for her unrighteousness.
The lion which thou sawest in the vision, rising out of the wood and roaring. We know that's a prophecy of Christ. And speaking to the eagle, which is the previous chapter in the 11th chapter of Esdras. Well, there was a lion that came out of the woods and started speaking to the eagle in the vision and rebuking the eagle, who is Edom or Rome, for her unrighteousness. Read.
With all the words which thou hast heard.
Read.
This is the anointed, whom the highest have kept for them and for their wickedness unto the end.
Unto the end, he shall what?
He shall reprove them.
He shall begin to correct them, and he's doing that through his ministry, and his people, Judah, is declaring to the world that these leaders, these pagan leaders, push abominations and sin upon the earth against God's law. They're not God's people. How do you know they're not God's people? They have the power and influence to promote righteousness, right? But refuse to do so. I need y'all to think about this, folks. Hollywood, media, the financial influence that you can actually pay for wars and influence other countries. But yet, with all that power, money, and influence, you refuse to push the law and what's right according to God. So Christ in this prophecy is calling out their hypocrisy. How dare you call yourselves the children of God? You have the power to enforce justice, yet you push debauchery, evil, sin, the spirit of Sodom and Gomorrah. You push unrighteousness. You're not the children of God. You're the children of the devil. So it says Christ, he shall reprove them, the lion coming out of the woods. Read.
And shall upbraid them with their cruelty.
And then promote to the whole earth and tell the whole earth how evil they have been since our God gave them power. How unjust they have been. Read.
33. For he shall set them before him alive in judgment, and shall rebuke them and correct them.
And correct them. Read.
For the rest of my people shall he deliver with mercy.
But for the rest of God's people, Christ shall deliver with mercy. Read.
Those that have been preserved upon my borders, and he shall make them joyful unto the coming of the day of judgment, whereof I've spoken unto thee from the beginning.
So when it comes down to prophecy of what's going on in the earth concerning the Middle East, that's Christ. That's Christ stirring it all up, because all of these prophecies must come to pass that was written before his return. So what's going to happen with Iran? What comes next? Elder Lawyer, if you will, let's go to now Jeremiah 51, verse 28, and Isaiah 13. Here is what you can look forward to. Everything the Most High has given us through prophecy has happened so far, right on the dime. So now we're here before you stating, according to God's prophecy, what to expect, what you can expect in prophecy next. Jeremiah, let's go down here. Jeremiah 51. And let's start, Elder Lawyer, at the 28th verse.
Yes, sir. Jeremiah 51 and 28. Prepare against her the nations with the kings of the Medes.
It says, prepare against the nations with the kings of the Medes, who are the Iranians. Read.
The captains thereof, and all the rulers thereof, and all the land of his dominion. And the land shall tremble and sorrow, for every purpose of the Lord shall be performed against Babylon.
Performed against Babylon. So this war is getting provoked and agitated by the Edomites in Israel to provoke Iran to get rid of that area, the Middle East, and to strike America. The Lord is stirring this up. The strike. Now, I'm going to show you all a map that I've shown brothers and sisters yesterday on Patreon to know exactly the areas that will be underwater when it happens. But we have time. But here's a fair warning. And this is even to the Ben Ami people that are over there in Israel who went back in the 70s under Ben Ami, and that was a cover. They allowed them to build that area there because at the same time, guess what? In Dimona, Israel was actually dealing with their weapon program not too far from there. So how do you hide the fact that you are enriching uranium and making yourself a bomb? Well, just let these black people in and claim that they're building too, and expat repatriation back to Israel and Dimona, and use their building as a cover. Why? Well, Israel at that time was claiming that they didn't have a nuclear bomb. They were the one country who refused to be a part of the weapons, the bombs, the Atoms Bomb Proliferation Act. The Nuclear Proliferation Act, Israel, the state of Israel at that time, in the 60s and 70s, refused to sign into it. They used Dimona, Africa as a front to have black people act like they building something to go back to Israel so that no one can see that they were building their weapons programs not too far. Okay? Our people, that's in Israel. If you want to live, find another place outside of that area. I'm going to tell you that right now. We are not to return into those borders until Christ guide us in. There will be a 7-year cleansing of the earth after the war fallout upon Christ's return. And then we'll be within the borders. If you are in Israel, if you're in those regions, you're going to be destroyed. Okay? You're going to be destroyed. And the land shall tremble and sorrow, read.
For every purpose of the Lord shall be performed against Babylon, to make the land of Babylon a desolation without inhabitants.
Without inhabitants. Why? Because eventually when they hit America, I told you about the domino effect. Okay? All of the nuclear reactors we have in the United States that power our energy and all these others were strategically built on fault lines. So once something hit, it's going to be a domino effect where all of these nuclear reactors are going to blow. And it's going to separate America into 3 separate parts. And I'm going to show you the map in a minute to show you the areas you cannot be in at that time, especially the inner cities. Now, of course, we will be able to survive a lot of it if we're not in the geography of the fallout when it comes to the nuclear waste and all these others that'll be let in the air. Okay? Now, so how will this happen prophetically once they go against Iran and Iran retaliates? Well, Iran is going to strike Israel. It's going to be totally burnt, all that area. The kings of Kittim, the kings of Israel, are going to run into Cyprus, if they haven't already started, and different parts of Europe. They're going back to Ukraine. They're going back to Rome. And then their plan is to now, under the cloud of that particular war, come against the children of Israel that's throughout the earth. That's the plan. Remember, you heard it here first. June 14th, so-called 2025. If you don't have this lesson, get it and download it. And remember, guess what? The Most High sent us to tell you exactly what was going to happen. Let's go to Isaiah 13 now. And let's go straight to the Medes.
Isaiah 13. Isaiah 13 and verse number 17.
Right here, 13 and 17. There it is. Let's read it.
Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them.
I will stir up the Medes against them. See? It's our God behind the whole thing. Read.
Which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it.
They don't care about the payment, or they would have brought in to the New World Order and not. They would have. They would have overcome those sanctions. Excuse me. See, if they cared about the money in the economy and all these others, they would have been capitulated. See, they don't care about the money and all that. Okay, they're not going to regard money, nothing. Read.
Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb.
They will have no pity on the fruit of the womb. That's why Iran is trying to stay out of it, because once they're pushed into it, there is no going back. Total carnage will ensue on the earth. And you talking about a superpower, folks. We're not talking about, this is not Iraq here. Iran is a different beast. And they know it. Esau knows it. Read.
Their eyes shall not spare children.
Read.
19. In Babylon, the glory of kingdoms.
The glory of kingdoms, America.
The beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah.
It shall be what?
As when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah.
This is why Iran is in prophecy right now. So there's a dual prophecy going on. And at the same time, while Iran is wrecking shop, the Most High will be guiding the elect through the fire. When you're persecuted in one city, flee into the next city. It's going to be like an underground connection guided by the angels to make sure that those in Christ sustain through the wars until Christ returns. Huh? Now, if you don't know, now you know. Just keep your eyes on what's going on right now. Okay? Again, we have some time. We're still in the proxy stage before it really cuts loose. But we're going to keep our eye on this between now and the end of 2026. Hey, it's going to be deep. And if someone asks me, well, what should I do? Repent, be baptized for the remission of sins, and get with the body. The same God who have given us the direction in this Bible to understand it and to teach it, to make it crystal clear, is the same God that's guiding this church through the Holy Spirit in Christ. We'll be guided as the prophecies unfold. When we went throughout the earth, going here, going there, we were just going where the Spirit took us on a regular basis with no clear understanding fully to why he had us go into these different areas. But now I understand. Churches were established. Relationships were established. So that when it all goes down, we would have refuge like the disciples did and those who had churches during the time of Jerusalem fall in 70 AD, there was refuge. Now it's becoming crystal clear that the refuge comes from those within the body of Christ. That's the refuge. Any rogues operating rogue, hey, I don't know what's going to come of you, but hey, I'll pray for you. But all in all, We're going to be guided through the Holy Spirit all the way until the wilderness. So keep our eyes on this, because you understand what's really going on now. You understand this prophecy. And again, like I stated last night, do not panic. Do not panic. Don't let nobody call you and try to panic you and say they got some place for you. Don't do that. Get with someone who can guide you, who have the experience in the church that's a part of the body. Stay away from the haters, because soon, if they don't leave from where they are, they're gonna be toast. Okay? Now, before we go, Elder, I wanted to mention one other thing. You have Hebrews out there claiming that because of this letter, some letter of the Khazars, that it proves that the Edomites, the Khazars who converted into Judaism, it proves that they were Japheth. That's a lie. The Khazars were and are Edomites. Okay? Now, let me read this here, where they're getting that from. Right? Right here, for about a century, Khazaria grew powerful in the region. And we're talking about those of Turkish, living in Turkey and all that. Those are Edomites, folks. Khazaria grew powerful in the region, expanding east to present-day Hungary, west to present-day Russia, and north to present-day Bulgaria. Khazars kept peaceful ties with the Byzantine Empire to the south. In that third period, there was some correspondence between Khazarians, Kagan, and Jewish scholars worldwide. Most known are the correspondence between Ibn Hasdai of Spain and King Joseph in 1954. This is the letter they're using to try to claim the Khazars are Japheth. In this letter, King Joseph recalls much of the Khazar relationship to the Jewish people, including a mythological genealogy to Gog and Magog, descendants of Japheth. Okay? Now, through this one source, you have Hebrews out there claiming this proves that the Khazars are Japheth, written of in Genesis 10. And wrong answer. That doesn't prove anything. Because when Esau comes into an area, he assimilates himself with the culture and the people of the area. When you go into, listen to me clearly, folks, when you go into the antiquity of the Jews, well before Khazaria, it shows us the original conversion of Edomites into Jewry. So they want to deal with the modern day conversion, not realizing how the modern day Khazars between the 8th and 11th century who converted into Idumeans, who and what they were connected to before the Byzantine Empire, before the 8th and 11th century conversion. See? So you must go way back even before Christ to see the origin of all these Europeans, Edomites who converted. You can't use Khazaria and say, well, hold up, they're Japheth, not realizing how these Edomites got into Turkey. See? They got into Turkey through the Roman wars, as well as, even before that, the wars of Alexander the Greek's generals, who began to conquer all of that area and set up Edomite societies. So no, you can't look at and say, hold up, here's a letter of a king who says he's from the genealogy of Japheth. You can't use that. Or you're going to tell me that Elon Musk is South African right now. Because he said so. Now, Elder Lawyer, if you will, before we open it up, we got about 10, 15 minutes. Let's read the conversion of the 2nd century here during the time of Hyrcanus out of the Josephus. Antiquity of the Jews.
Scroll up.
This way?
Upwards.
Down or up?
Up.
Okay.
To 9, book 9.
Okay.
Right there.
Go here, right here. Book 9?
Yep.
Okay, there it is. All right.
Scroll down just a little bit. Right there.
Right. The water, Elder. Right here. Hyrcanus. Now, Hyrcanus, man, what's going on here? You got it. I'm like, hold up down there. I'm not scrolling.
Right.
You said 13 and 9?
Yes, sir.
All right, right.
Go back down. Scroll up a little bit.
What book is it?
Book 13.
Book 13, 9, right?
Mm-hmm. Keep going up.
1 second.
Mm-hmm. Right there.
Okay, there it is, the water. I'm going to mark it so I don't forget it. So in the book of Josephus, folks, it breaks it all down. Read it if you will, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. Hyrcanus took also Dora and Marissa, cities of Idumea.
Cities of Idumea. So what are we witnessing here? We're witnessing Israelites overthrowing the Idumeans in that area, Edomites, overthrowing them in a war. 2nd century. This was before Christ was born. Read.
And subdued all the Idumeans and permitted them to stay in that country if they would circumcise their genitals.
If they would circumcise their genitals. So we forced the Edomites, who are the modern day Europeans, to convert. You're not going to stay here dealing in your pagan Canaanite worships. So if you're from Esau, you had to convert at this time. Read.
And make use of the laws of the Jews.
And you must follow the laws of Jerusalem. We made the Edomites follow God's law. We converted them. Read.
And they were so desirous of living in the country of their forefathers that they submitted to the use of circumcision and the rest of the Jewish ways of living.
Read.
At which time, therefore, this befell them, that they were hereafter no other than Jews.
And this is where you get the term Jews from. An identifier for those who converted. If you are of another nation and convert into our ways, that makes you a Jew. But it doesn't distinguish it, but there's a distinguishment here. You're not from the 12 tribes. See? That's what distinguished the 12 tribes from converts. So yes, they're Jew according to their beliefs, but they're not from the 12 tribes of Israel. See that? So when you see Europeans as Jews, you notice they never distinguish from what tribe they're from, because they're not from the 12 tribes. Okay? They're Jews through conversion. Now, the Khazars were Edomites in the Turkish area who was dealing with, they were called the serpent people. They were straight pagans. And between the 8th and the 11th century AD, being pressed upon two sides between Islam and Christianity, two Abrahamic religions, they decided to convert to Judaism, while still holding the pagan mysticism and the witchcraft and evil as the true foundation for their core beliefs. Huh? Boy, y'all got a class today, didn't you? All right. So, Elder Lawyer, what I'll do, real quick, let me look at the messages, and I'm not going to, do not call the phone, because I'm not going to answer the phones because there's confusion there. I'm going to look at the messages, and I'll call you all that way. 1 second. Look at the messages here. And I'll call you all that way. Are Amalek and Edom the same? Both from Khazars. Amalek is a child, is a son or family out of Edom. The same way, if you look at the 12 tribes, Benjamin and Judah are two separate brothers of the same family. See that? So Amalek is a family out of the tribes of Esau or Edom. The Khazars, the family that went into Khazaria, are from that family, Amalek. Let's go to the next one. If you would like to donate, 404 area code, okay? Go to gatheringofchrist.org and hit donate. And it'll give you options. If you want to donate directly to the elders, it'll give you an option for that, or whatever you would like to do to support in any area you see fit. Or there's a P.O. box, gatheringofchrist.org, that you can actually go to. You can see it on gatheringofchrist.org, P.O. box. You can send check or money order that way if you feel safe that way. And or if you're just donating for the classes, our weekly classes, and want to give us a donation, then you would just go to the Cash App is $GOCC report, and keep it there, because you got others like scammy East Indians and others that are making tags close to GOCC to try to get money sent to them. $GOCC report. Okay? Go to gatheringofchrist.org if you want to donate. Yes, you can use $GOCC report. Absolutely. Okay, is there any other, if you have any other messages, now is your time to send them, because it seemed like some of these messages have been deciphered into different languages and all that. I don't know what this is saying.
Somebody try to maybe, send a link or something?
If you send a link cannot be deciphered through this particular phone. So if you have a regular message, I'll be more than happy to deal with that. All right. Last but not least, I would do this, and then we'll conclude the class. It can only be on the lesson that Elder Lawyer and I dived into here. It can only be on the lesson. I will take 2 Zooms, and then after that, this will conclude our class for today. Then this will conclude our class. 2 Zooms. All right? I hope you've been edified. Do it this way. Man, we over 3,000. All praises be to the Most High. Oh yeah, this thing was hitting up in here today. Huh? Praise the Most High. Ain't that something? I didn't even see that number. I seen it right here. Oh, that's right. They're asking for the map. How could I have forgotten that? Let me get that map, the Forbes map. I have it here. Hold on. There it is right there. Man, I don't know how I could have forgotten that. You definitely have to see that. Forbes, brothers and sisters. Forbes had an article of what happens in a catastrophe if there was a war and or bombs hit the United States. Through the domino effect, bridges would fall, tsunamis would happen, and here is the future map of the United States after a war. Right? Now, I'm so glad. Thank you, Elder Yirach. I didn't want to forget this. Based on the information, the data they've collected, okay, after a war, the majority of Oregon that used to have land here will be gone. All of this landscape. Nevada will be underwater. Utah will be underwater. Half of Colorado will be underwater, going all the way up into here. Parts of Wyoming, underwater. That's why the Bible says flee into the mountains. Look at all the mountain areas that are safe. Nevada, Utah will be totally underwater. The coastal sides of Arizona, 1/3 of Arizona during the coastal sides will be underwater. Colorado, only 1/3 of Colorado will survive. And that'll be the mountainous areas or the bottom area of Colorado. 1/3 of Colorado near the water, it'll be here. Then you have a stream going through here, right? Arkansas, about a half or 1/3. That's America broken into 3 parts on the map. Yes, it is. That's America broken into 3 parts, Gaja. You are correct. All of this in Arkansas on this side, find out where you are geographically, where you live. Okay? This is what they estimate or understand how the land is laid out, what will happen if something was to hit America. The coastal sides of Carolina, gone. The inward side of Georgia, gone. Okay? All of this, parts of Maine near the coast, half of Maine, gone. Okay? Now, what areas will be safe? Canada predominantly will be safe. Iowa, Kentucky, Pennsylvania fully will be safe. Connecticut will be safe. Massachusetts and the coast of Massachusetts and New Hampshire is gone. Parts of Maine, all of these areas you see here is current land. Will be gone. Everything you see that's current land that's etched out will be gone in the war. Michigan, this is what's left. See Michigan? Central Michigan all the way up will be okay. But the borders around Michigan will be done. Okay? So I thought I would show you this map because Forbes put it out there years ago. The America in case a catastrophe happens, right? And that's if through the domino effect, the Yosemite, the Yellowstone thing blows, the dam up there near past up New York and all that, the dam there blows. And as you can see, Louisiana, my hometown down here, I was born Lake Charles, Louisiana, the levees will blow and all of Louisiana will be underwater. And the borders of Mexico will be underwater. Okay? But Pennsylvania will be okay. Vermont, for the most part, will be okay. Half of New York, well, 1/3 of New York at the top will be utterly taken out. Okay? Here's the map. Okay? Let me see where's Texas. That's Oklahoma, Kansas. Yeah, the bottom parts of Texas. Man, Texas is going to survive it. New Mexico will be fine. Kansas will be fine. Oklahoma will be fine. And all of Texas outside of the borders will be fine. Florida, the bottom keys of Florida down here will be utterly gone. See? So what I would suggest for those who are watching, if you can, just take a snapshot. As a matter of fact, better yet, I'll put the article in the chat for you all. How about that? Right there in the chat is the Forbes link. So if you live in any of these areas, you probably want to see what'll be safe in the midst of a disaster if something happens, and find a place you can live that's conducive to what you can afford in your current place. Again, this is not going to happen tomorrow, so don't panic. All right? But still, it's good that you have this. All right? It's good that you have it. All right? And of course, make sure you make it into a church. We have 2, then this concludes our particular broadcast for today. Thank you, other lawyer.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. We have Kevin and Dale. Kevin, come in first. Hey, Kevin, are you sitting in the dark? Hold on. Oh, no, we're not doing that. Oh, there you go. Hey, brother, why don't you cut on the light? Kev?
Hey, give me just a second.
Oh, no. You can't be operating from a sultry posture here. It's too early in the day on the Sabbath for you sitting up leaning.
Give me just a second, because you're in an echo right now on YouTube. Let me mute you.
Okay. It's too early to be, up in the dark. I'm not seeing anything but
I live in a third world country, man. It's hot here. I got the fan on.
Okay. Hey, brother. Hey, listen, I'm just worried about people in that dark. this Sabbath.
No.
All right, so do me a favor, Dell. I need you to mute it real quick. Thank you, Dell. Not you, Kev. Kev, you're in. Talk to me.
No, so basically, I mean, my question is more so like I understand what you went through today, and I've been following it for a while, or at
Okay.
least since 2010. So I'm wondering, because I've been looking at this, the King Alfred plan, we talked about that and it disappeared,
Yeah.
and then the Albert Pike's plan for the Middle East, his pitch on the Third World War.
Okay, what's
So
your
I'm
question?
wondering how that ties in with what's going on currently.
Because what they did was they updated the King Alfred plan, right? On a
Right,
more-
they're using immigration versus the
Yeah.
actual black people. Yeah, I caught that.
See, but don't forget, they had the King Alfred plan in case the Civil Rights Act didn't work. So when they started giving us
Okay.
welfare and separating families and all that, then if they can destroy us that way, then there will be no need for the King Alfred. But now they have a more sophisticated way of the King Alfred that they're moving through the immigration all over the earth right now.
Okay, all right.
All right.
And then as far as Albert Pikes, it's pretty cut and dry. I mean, it's fairly well the route that they're following.
Oh yeah.
Yay or nay.
Right on the plan. If you don't mind me asking, where are you?
I'm in Guatemala. I'm part of the Central American body.
Okay, you in Guatemala right now. All praises. Okay.
Yeah, I've been here since 2012, actually.
Okay. All right. So that's good. That's good. So you are a part of the body, which is good, and you're staying in the know. But yeah, the King Alfred plan now is really literally the immigration plan now. But they're doing it now where they can extract you under the guise of immigration. You got it?
Yeah, that's what I've been looking at in the news, and I kind of figured that's the route that they were going, but I wasn't certain. And I hadn't seen anything on the channels, nobody because the weather, we're in rain season here in Central America. So the groups, the gatherings that we have over the Zoom aren't really going right now because of that, because it interferes with the internet. So I hadn't really got word as to whether anybody was looking at it that way or not.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's a more sophisticated way of doing it. They had the King Alfred plan in place in case their Civil Rights Act didn't work. But of course, it worked. They succeeded by destroying us through their politics, with the Democrats as the Trojan horse to destroy our families, picking us off piece by piece. So there was no need for them to implement that because there was no resistance and rise of what they call a black messiah to unite our people at that time. But now the lion has risen. So now they're going to do it through immigration now, but it's not going to happen the way they're just grabbing people and all that. They're going to go after the low-hanging fruit first. The Hebrews that are dealing with racist rhetoric and calling the white man a devil and all that, they're numero uno on the list to be moved out of here. Okay? So we're to stay in Christ, respect all people, and teach the ministry of God. And you know what? Of course, anyone that's in Christ eventually is between the crosshairs, but there's a pecking order. They're going to get the obvious ones whom the population wouldn't care about them taking first. Okay? The same way it was done before 70 AD. There were militant Israelites by the name of Zealots who rose up, claimed that they was going to oppose the wicked government. The Roman Empire destroyed them. So they're going to do that with the Hebrews that's in a militant posture. Okay, we're going to do what we're doing, teach Christ, and we're going to do what Christ say. But we're not to operate in fear. We're not going anywhere based on what is the Illuminati is going to do and what the white man is going to do, because it's going to happen around the whole earth. It's a global net. What we're going to do, like Christ says, if you're persecuted in one city, we're going to go into another city and guide our people accordingly until we're in Jerusalem. And we won't get there until Christ returns. Got it?
Got it. Sure do appreciate it.
My brother, thanks for your
Thank
question.
you for your time.
Okay. Last one for today. You can let yourself out, Kev, if you will. And we have Brother Dell. You're the last guest. Shabbat Shalom. Talk to me.
Shabbat Shalom, Elder. I gotta change my name because I'm Zakar and Yash Andre Judah Thomas. That's who I am. So I have to change the names.
Okay.
But I had a question, but when I was waiting, you answered it. When you showed the map and showed what's going to be here and what's going to be, destroyed. So that was the question.
Okay. All praises. Well, brother,
So thank you. The lesson was great as always. Yeah. Shalom and Tawah.
Well, Tawada to you, brother, and stay edified. And hey, it's good to see young men in the work. You make me proud to know that Israel is rising. You are a testimony. Shalom.
Yeah, I've been baptized in the Chicago body since 2007.
Look at
so yeah,
that.
I've been here for a while.
My brother, hey, we're gonna have to move you around because you must know something all that time. All right.
Oh yeah, I was on one of your when you recorded it in Chicago when we all got baptized. I think it was the YW.
Yeah, you were there.
Yeah, I was the one that spoke on the video. I be trying to look for it, but I think you took it off.
No, they took it off.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, and listen, I pray that they don't take this lesson off YouTube. We wake up at night and YouTube say, "I just did you a favor. We're not going to strike your channel, but your video is gone."
Wow. But
we wake up to that all the time. Go ahead.
But I'm here. I'm located in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So I asked you a question a few times. When will we get a body? But okay. I know you said, talks was in the works. So
okay, well, 2007. Do me a favor. Send an email to gocccsouth@yahoo.com, and I'll have Elder Lawyer give it to Bishop Shawan now. And by doing so, since you've been here for 2007, we'll talk about you getting into classes to help head it up. How does that sound?
That sounds great.
Okay, but I'm gonna tell you, brother, to much is given, much is required. You got to be able to follow in the Spirit and operate through the guidance of the elders. Okay. That means we don't deal with no rogue zones. You have to be in the spirit of the church and directed until otherwise. Until we see you have grown with the Spirit to be able to make certain moves, understanding what the position entails. But if you can implement what the church does and operate in what we give you, you'll be the perfect guy for this. All right?
Okay, understood.
All right, so send me an email, gocccsouth@yahoo.com, and let's bring the world heaven. My brother.
Shalom.
Shalom. With that, shalom. We're going into tomorrow, brothers and sisters, the promised seed. That's right. That's us. We're the children of Israel. And yes, we are back. Blessings. And keep in mind, the Most High is calling back the children of Israel. Judah, rise. Christ has his own Operation Rising Lion. Let's go. Have a blessed Sabbath. Shalom.
Shalom.
To Zion.
Hold up now. Oh no, we gotta bump this up.
The east is where we're from. The 12 tribes of Israel. In 721 BC, the Assyrian king, he took us down, we fell. With a great escape we went through the Euphrates. The Lord held the water still. To a land where no mankind dwelt, we went. The 12 tribes of Israel. That's who we be, Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, Naphtali from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Zebulon from Panama, Gad, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans. Our highest gathering in Israel. The Arabs and Africans told us